Hi,
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Pak Hilmar and Nathania. Good morning. So I want to go to Pak Hilmar first. Speaking of the performance, how do you feel about yesterday's performance?
Well, it was amazing. It was really great for several reasons. First of all, it's always been a proud moment to perform in front of the president, a special occasion. But secondly, I mean, after 2 years of absence, I mean, for us, it's really special. I mean, musicians suffered a lot. So to be at that ceremony, it's a sign that we are back. You know, so that's very important.
Yay.
Of course, first female conductor ever. So it's also a very proud moment for us. But yeah, it was really special. And of course, the reaction from the audience. That was also like
and it really went viral, right?
Yes. It was really heartwarming.
It was very organic and natural because people started to get up, and I saw the performance itself. It was the musicians were really letting loose, and they're allowing them to be themselves. Can you tell us the story behind Gita Bahana Nusantara itself?
Well, it has a really long history. It dates back to 1946, actually, when President Sukarno, he was the first who inspired us of doing this. I mean, he then, during the first ceremony of our independence, asked his assistant, Mutahar, to create a song and then ask young people to perform in front of the audience. And the reason for that, why young people? Because it's a sign of hope, future, etc. You know? So, and then 2003, it was formalized. Under President Megawati at that time. I mean, she was the one who really thought of this and then asked the Minister of Culture at that time to create this Gita Bahana Nusantara. So it has a 19-year history now, in formal sense. But yeah, again, we know that in our history, music plays a very important role in nation building and all that. So yeah, it's a continuation of that.
And the tradition continues to this day, as we can see.
And also, congratulations to Nathania as the chosen the 2022 Gita Bahana Nusantara conductor for Indonesia's 77th Independence Day yesterday. So you were the first female conductor in the history of Gita Bahana Nusantara. So just out of curiosity, what's the greatest challenge that you've overcome so far, especially being the first ever female conductor of Gita Bahana Nusantara?
Okay, I think in terms of challenge, there's not much actually. I mean, everyone has been very supportive. All the Kemendikbud staff, even the kids, they're very warm, very open. I mean, I can't say it as a challenge, but of course it's a proud moment, and I hope it not will be the last one, but in the future, hopefully we'll see some more female conductor up there. Yes.
The first of many.
Yes.
So, Hilmar, what was the considerations behind the selection of Dr. Nia as the conductor for this year's event?
Well, actually, it's a secret, but
please tell us.
But yeah, and I mean, globally, I mean, if you look at music orchestra, you can only find a very few female conductors all over the world. No?
Right.
So we thought of that, and also it's a statement, really, that actually, even in fields where male dominance is really like strong, yeah, things can be changed. By inviting Dr. Nia, we did actually a long research, really to find the right person to do this. Right. And the good news is that later in September, this is actually a spoiler, but we will organize an orchestra for the G20 event.
Wow!
Nice.
It's also a female conductor.
Oh, wow, okay. Breaking news, you heard it here first. By the way, I noticed that there was an underlying women's theme at yesterday's event, the Ibu Pertiwi. There was also the, during the delivery of the proclamation text as well as the heirloom flag, there was also the kabayas that was on full display during the parade. So I thought it was a really nice underlying theme across the whole event.
Nice, nice. Now, Dr. Nia, could you tell us about your experience in leading the Gita Bahana Nusantara choir and also orchestra on Independence Day? What's the preparation like?
It's a very long preparation. For me personally, coming to a very established organization, I need to do my research
Okay.
because I don't want to come like not knowing
Yeah.
like, you know, what's behind the organization. So for me, the most important is how to keep the tradition, but how to freshen up as well. Because I think what you guys mentioned about like how this year performance is very fresh, the audience sort of like dancing along. That's what I want from young people. Because I mean, orchestra has this stereotype for like, you know, being boring, being, you know, for old
uptight.
people. Yeah, but this is young people playing orchestra music, and why we can't be young? And we're playing Indonesian song, folk song, which is, I mean, it's the spirit of Indonesia, right? So I told the kids, you know what? Let's move here, let's move there. At first they was like, are you sure? Like, I said, yeah, let's move there.
Oh, so that was instructed by you, like you allowed them to have their own.
Yeah. At first they were like reluctant. I was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'll show you. So that's why I sort of like dance with them to show them that it's not only I tell you to move, I move along with you. So you don't need to be
So
scared.
how many songs were there?
During the ceremony, there was 3 songs, and then we played before the actual upacara as well. 5 songs with Vidi Aldiano, and there's young talent singer Dari.
Yeah, that's right. And I know, because I noticed, I was thinking that too. I wonder who kind of synchronized their movement, because the one that caught me completely off guard was the celloists.
Yes.
Because they spun their cellos in unison, like at the same time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
wait a minute, they had to have planned that before. So,
We actually choreographed that. Right?
oh, very cool.
Because I saw there's this moment where, because I mean, abroad, we saw all this orchestra wearing, you know, Avengers costume during the performance. Like, why not? You know what? There's a point where we can twirl that cello, and then you know they gave me that eyes as well. Like, you sure? Yes. Like, twirl it.
Even on the spot. That's great.
Nice.
So this consisted, including yourself, was 200 in total. So
Yes.
there was 131 in the choir, 68 musicians. Now, all of them youths that were selected from all across the nations, all the different provinces. I heard that the selection process was quite rigorous. In fact, practicing started online nearing the end of July, and then you guys had more intense training, as you mentioned, in August. Can you tell us a little bit, take us back to the selection process itself? How did it go, and how challenging was it to find these specific members that you finally became the final parts of the choir and music?
There are two different elements in Gita Bahana. First, the choir and the orchestra. For the choir, we go around 34 provinces to find like 4 representatives from each province.
Okay.
All the different voices that are needed in a choir. And difficult, of course, because then people have to travel, really have connection as well, like network. Through our network, then we start the audition. And of course, young people are very enthusiastic, lots of people register, quality are varied, so we really have to be careful, right?
How long was the process?
For this year, we started actually last year, because last year we couldn't perform.
Right. Okay.
I mean, in live, so we had to postpone that and then use the ones that have been selected before this year. But for the orchestra, it's quite different, because you don't necessarily have people that you need in each province, right? So it's more like open in that sense. But yeah, it took us quite some time to bring this group together.
Well, perhaps it's a bit of a silver lining that this live performance was postponed from last year, because it gave you a little bit more of a lead time as well. And it's also nice to know that every province is represented equally, at least in the choir.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I met the whole Indonesia yesterday.
Basically, yeah, you did. And you led them all.
All right. So I want to know also from Nia, how did you prepare the ceremony yesterday, and were there any difficulties in the training process? Because you know, you've mentioned that you've trained from the 6th of August, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. It's a very rigorous practice, because the kids basically they have to wake up like 6 and then start their practice at 8 in the morning and finish around 10. So it's a very long practice. But this year apparently is the year that we need to play the most song, but also where it is the shortest time period as well.
Really?
But the kids did really good. I mean, they came all prepared. So my job is pretty okay. I mean, like I
Pretty
didn't-
easy.
Yeah. because they came all prepared. That's I'm just being very grateful with that. They're being very respectful as well. If we told them like, you know what, you need to sleep because tomorrow you need to wake up like 3 in the morning, and they did that. So my job was pretty easy. I'm more like excited and keep their mood, because I mean it's a long day of practice. And I told them, you know, near the end of the intensive training, you know what, you know all the notes, we can play this, let's just, you know, let's just have fun. I think that's the most important as well.
Yeah, much like the selection and the process for the Paski-Braka as well. A lot of them, some of them perhaps were spending extended time away from home for the first time in their lives. How did they handle that part of it?
I think for musicians, it's a bit easier. It is, and we're a very large group. I mean, it's like 200 people within. I think it's more like a playing ground for them. I even need to stop them during break not to play their instrument, because during break time they will start, you know, jamming around. I was like, you know what, you need to eat.
Yeah, because I guess they're getting together with other musicians, so you want to share and you want to get together. That's really cool. So, Pa Hilmar, this year, I'm going to start with you first. This year, Gita Bahana Nusantara sang, is it a total of 17 songs? Is that
17,
correct?
yes.
17 songs, and as well as not only the Merdeka Palace, there was the House of Representatives building as well. One of the songs was called the Nusantara Medley, which combined several traditional songs that we know from different Indonesian regions. What was the process behind the creation of this medley?
Well, we asked our senior musician, Purwacharaka, to arrange, find the right songs, and the selection was really new.
Right.
Before we had that medley of different Nusantara songs, no, but this one was really different. And we particularly asked not only in terms of representing different regions, but also different sounds. And that was, I think, very successful in my opinion. I mean, Ibu Nia certainly knows better from a musical perspective, but from a, what you call that, like, for me, ordinary person looking at it, I found it really special.
Was it challenging for you at all, because you have to make sure that you capture all the right essences from each one and put it together seamlessly? How was that for you?
I mean, in terms of music, I believe good music, it's good music. Because yesterday's performance, even though it's a folk song, we have some jazz influence. We even have, you know, a very symphonic part. And I think Pak Purwacharaka did a really good job to capture all that. And my job is how to deliver that to the audience. And at the end of the day, even though it's a folk song with a jazz touch, the audience still, you know, it's still a memorable performance.
Received.
Yes, it is.
I want to ask one more thing for you both. Perhaps you can both answer from your own opinion. I've noticed, and I haven't seen. We were lucky to have be the official broadcaster for the ceremonies. But in previous years, even before the pandemic, I noticed that there's just been a slight shift over time to become what it is today. It's not the way it was 20 years ago when it comes to the costumes and the musical arrangements and just people's moods in general. When we saw Pharrell perform, you know, people just spontaneously got up to dance. I want to capture, we'll start with you, Pa Hilmar. What was your take on how the actual celebrations have shifted, and what do you think about what it has become today?
Well, it has shifted enormously, I should say, but I think the most important point is that being together after being separated for 2 years, I mean, it's really, really impactful. I think yesterday, the spontaneous reaction, ministers are dancing, like, that was for the first time. You know? But before, in planning the entire event, we were particularly asked, think of something different.
Okay.
Which is really a challenge. I mean, how can you make a state ceremony different?
Right, exactly.
If you want to make it different, then it really has to be different, right? Sure. So the selection of songs, costumes, of course, but also how to create that mood of celebrating, our being together during that event was, I think, the most challenging part for us. But now there's a new benchmark.
It's going to be hard to top that one for next year. How about you, Nathania? Your thoughts?
I told some fellow musician about the performance. I told them I was just very lucky at the perfect time.
Yeah.
You know, the perfect arrangement with all the kids. I mean, it's. That's what, as what you say. I don't know how you will do that in the next year.
Well, I think we were very lucky to have you.
Yes, it was a great performance. Now, one last question from me. What sort of positive message that you both want to convey from yesterday's performance?
For me, it's probably the power of young people. I truly believe young people will lead the future of this country, and young people consists not only mathematician, physics, because we know that's what we have in our society. You know, kids need to be good in mathematics and stuff like that. But what about arts? What about music?
What about
culture?
arts?
Yes, and I'm surrounded with 200 kids from all over Indonesia that share the same passion in music, and I can't be more grateful with that. So I hope in the future there'll be more events. To you know, gather all these kids from Indonesia that share the same passion. Maybe not always in music, but in any passion that they want. So I think,
share the energy. Hilmar,
for me, the same. The role of art in this, and culture in general, during the recovery process from the pandemic. I mean, it plays a very key role. And we were talking before this started about mental health, the role that art can actually play, you know, in helping people to cope with the situation. So yesterday, I think, sends a very strong message to everyone who's watching it, that despite of all the problems that we have, you should enjoy life, and art can be a very powerful tool to do that, to enjoy your life.
Agree with you both. Hilmar and Dr. Nia, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We
for
hope
coming.
that, and I believe I speak on behalf of Shanaz and all parents out there, with those of us with little kids, that you continue to inspire our youth and our children to make this country and the world a better place. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.